Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the best channel for Asian drama recaps. Today's episode is simply sensational, with a truly surprising ending. So stay with me until the end, and don't forget to subscribe so YouTube can send you the best recaps every day. Gina is a shy student who is in love with Kim, the boy with the highest IQ in the school and the most popular among the girls. She admires him and tries to kiss him, but she is considered the dumbest in the class, which pushes her away from Kim's love, as he is more interested in smart girls like Ryu, who is super pretty and popular, while Gina is seen as uglier. In addition, she is mocked by her older sister, who says that no one loves her. Since her sister goes out partying, Gina is forced by her mother to work and deliver food. She feels that everyone mistreats her, and Kim, wanting to cheer her up, encourages her to create an Instagram account to release her feelings. She thinks it's a good idea and makes a post saying that studying too much can be bad for your health. Suddenly, a mysterious guy identifies with her and appreciates her beautiful way of writing. Then, the guy asks if she has a boyfriend, and Kim, seeing the comment, feels very jealous and starts investigating who this anonymous person is. The next day, the teacher introduces a new exchange student named Kan, and the girls start gossiping about how handsome he is. He seems like a tough guy, and Gina realizes that Ryu was mesmerized by him because she actually knows him. They went to another school together in the past. Later, the teacher forces them to form groups of 5 for an assignment, and for Gina, this becomes a nightmare, as no one wants to be with her, and she is excluded. Luckily, Ryu accepts her in her group, and some bullies say that Ryu only did it out of pity. Gina hears everything and becomes sad. At that moment, Ryu talks to her and gives her a friendship bracelet, which is something new for Gina, since she never had a friend. Excited, she uploads a photo of the bracelets to Instagram, but while Ryu gets millions of likes, she doesn't get any. So Gina feels like a supporting actress in her presence. In fact, a student gives her a love gift to deliver to Ryu because he's too shy. Discouraged, she keeps the gift. However, later they find out that someone anonymously wrote on Instagram that they like her, and all her friends ask who it is. At that moment, Kim leaves, and Gina, who suspects him, follows him. Suddenly, something incredible happens. A boy asks Gina out on a romantic date, and she can't believe it. Neither can Kim. But the boy is serious and reveals that he's liked her for a long time. To show his love, he gives her a teddy bear with a letter saying he adores her and wants to kiss her lips. Gina is thrilled, but Ryu seems uncomfortable and tells her to focus on her studies instead of getting a boyfriend. Of course, she ignores the advice, happy that a boy finally noticed her. She then meets up with Kim, who notices that Gina wore perfume and put on lipstick for the boy, which makes his jealousy grow. He threatens to tell her mother that she likes a boy who keeps giving her gifts, and she thanks him for being so kind. Meanwhile, Kim watches the situation jealously. But when they leave, he hears the boy say he's giving those gifts to Gina to get Ryu's attention, since he asked her out a few days ago and she rejected him. So this is revenge. Kim tells Ryu, and it turns out she knew about the trap, but didn't say anything because she didn't want to hurt Gina's feelings. He says it's wrong to keep it a secret, and we see that Gina heard everything. Hurt, the protagonist catches up to her and sincerely apologizes for not telling her earlier. Gina cries because people always play with her, and she's tired of being manipulated. She feels like the invisible girl at school. He replies that she's not invisible because if she disappeared, he would notice. He would feel an emptiness in his heart without her by his side and cause a big scene. Then, Kim dries her tears and insists that she has a special charm that he likes. After that, Gina cheers up, and agrees to go on the date with the guy to teach him a lesson. When he least expects it, she confesses that she knows everything. The boy doesn't know what to say, and she insists that he should never mock her again. Meanwhile, Kim watches proudly at her bravery, and the boy walks away humiliated. Later, while she's waiting for food, the guy approaches, and she shouts that she deserves a much better guy than him. Because of this, rumors spread that she dumped him, and people say she's a man-eater. They also ask Ryu how she can be friends with Gina if she's such a terrible person, and we see that Gina's reputation worsens after breaking up with the boy. Later, the head bully steals Ryu's homework, and Gina tells her that stealing other people's work is wrong. The bully responds that she shouldn't act like a good person just because she sits with the most popular girl. Then Kim, unable to stay silent, defends her, but the bully keeps insulting him and calls him a playboy. Kim, fed up, tells her to shut up or she'll have to deal with him. Some girls start saying that Kim and Gina are dating, and a friend advises Gina to stay away from Kim until the rumors die down. The gossip makes her sad, so she posts on Instagram that words not only stay in the mind, but also hurt the heart. The mysterious guy replies that he understands and even likes her post. She then tells her friends she has a secret fan, and Kim becomes worried that it might be a stalker. She notices jealousy in his voice. Later, Ryu sees Kim talking to another girl. It's Gina, so she suspects they might be dating. He becomes friends with Gina because he likes her personality and doesn't understand why she's bullied at school. He tells Ryu to be kinder to Gina. So Ryu makes an effort, and they have a nice time together, realizing Gina's personality is more interesting than she thought. The bully interrupts them and harasses Gina again, but Gina asks if she's jealous because she has guy friends, unlike her, and calls her insecure. An anonymous message from her fan congratulates her for standing up to the bully and shutting her up. Kim doesn't like that they exchange messages and starts to notice how beautiful Gina truly is. When they're with others, they share secrets, laugh together, and grow a bond they never imagined having. Meanwhile, Kim follows Ryu, and when she drops a pen, he picks it up and uses the chance to get closer to her. In fact, Kim is kind to Ryu, and she starts to fall more in love. And she's not the only one. Kim and Gina also share a romantic moment on the basketball court. He teaches her how to shoot the ball and gently touches her. She notices it, but doesn't mind because his touch and especially his smile light up her soul. Kim is super happy with her, but while walking around the school, he also sees her with his friend Lin, who's helping her with a history assignment. She looks happy with Lin too, so Kim no longer feels special, thinking he was the only one who could make her laugh. Then, his relationship with Lin becomes awkward, and he ends up getting injured, cutting his knee. When Gina finds out, she visits him and asks him to be more careful. Her affection reminds him of how, 5 years ago, he broke his leg and she visited him every day to cheer him up. He now believes she's his soulmate. Gina even confesses that she used to really like him, and Kim imagines them kissing passionately. When she catches him making a pouty face, he feels embarrassed. At the same time, Kim, completely in love with Ryu, overhears her talking with her friends about her favorite band releasing a new song. He gets the idea to make a piano cover of the song and uploads it to YouTube especially for her. Ryu loves it and, without knowing it's him, leaves a positive comment encouraging him to keep making music. After this, Kim finds out that Gina spends so much time with Lin because he's tutoring her in the subject she's failing. Kim decides to talk to Bae, the smartest girl in school, to teach him how to be more intelligent. His goal is to become Gina's tutor, and she eventually agrees to give him some tips. They spend a lot of time together and unexpectedly become friends. Later, The boys agree to borrow their father's suits for the graduation photo, but they don't know Kim doesn't have a father. He doesn't want to admit it in front of them for fear of looking weak. So he tries to find someone to lend him a suit, so they don't discover his father passed away. When Gina goes to give him her father's suit, she finds out that Bae already beat her to it. Gina gets jealous. Then Kim, now with his suit, shows up leading the boys' group while many girls blush and talk about how handsome he looks. Gina, on the other hand, laughs at him, and the other protagonists exchange glances that suggest love. Then she goes and talks to the male lead in public, and Gina starts to suspect that they're not just friends, but actually like each other and are hiding it. Just thinking about it hurts her heart. To make things worse, Bae is introduced into their friend group, causing tension among everyone. After this, they have to decide what they want to do in the future. Ryu wants to be a YouTuber, Kim a lawyer, and everyone seems sure, except for Gina, who doesn't know what to do and feels inferior to her friends. All she wants is to love and be loved, and Kim is the one for her heart. What she's trying now is to kiss him. Meanwhile, a student notices that Kim has the same shirt as the piano guy, and it's revealed that it was him. The whole school finds out, and Ryu realizes the song was dedicated to her, which means Ken's love for her is still alive. Her hope of being with him grows. Gina also looks at Kim lovingly and hopes he kisses her. However, at home, her sister mocks her, saying it's impossible she'll ever find a boyfriend, and then goes out partying, leaving Gina to wash the dishes at the restaurant. She complains to her mom, but instead of supporting her, her mom defends her sister. Gina gets fed up with the way she's treated and has a big argument. She leaves the house angry and, luckily, finds Ken outside. Since she's wearing light clothes, he gives her his jacket and invites her to eat, showing her affection. They talk about college, and she hopes they can go together, but with her current grades, it seems unlikely. Gina insults herself for being stupid. To her surprise, Kim tells her he likes her just the way she is. When she reaches to touch his face, he imagines the kiss they almost shared and realizes he can't get her out of his head. Even in his dreams, he sees her lips. The truth is, she loves him too. When she writes a post about love, a famous writer with 2 million followers follows her on Instagram and reposts one of her photos. She gains thousands of followers overnight. Her friends say she's famous now and advise her to keep writing her feelings online. It's clearly a success. They celebrate by going to karaoke and singing songs from their favorite K-pop band. However, when she gets home, she hears her mom speaking badly about her and feels sad that her family doesn't appreciate her. Meanwhile, Kim invites Bae to eat, but she changes the topic and advises him to confess his feelings to Gina before another guy takes her. He agrees with her, but in a twist, Gina decides to meet her #1 fan, the one who writes her those messages. Kim pressures her not to go, fearing he could be a killer. But Lin encourages her to meet him. It's not surprising. Lin is the one who's been secretly messaging her. That's why he's so invested in the meeting. Kim, worried someone will steal her away, follows Bae's advice and messages Gina to go on a date the next day. When they meet, he dresses his best and feels nervous. He's about to confess his feelings. Then, they run into Gina's sister, who hasn't seen her in a long time and is drunk. She asks if they're dating and comments they make a cute couple. Without waiting for an answer, she supports their love but forbids them from touching each other until they're adults. Gina yells at her to leave and apologizes to Kim for the awkward moment. At that moment, Bae faints and they visit her at the hospital. They find out she fainted due to overwork. When they open her wallet, they realize she has no money to pay the hospital bill and Kim pays for her. He advises her to stop working so much, Living a happy life and especially having love is more important. After that, Gina decides to meet her fan and is surprised to see it's Lin. She feels a great connection with him, and her initial fear fades, giving way to a true friendship. They talk until late at night, and Gina gives him advice on how to talk to his mother, who pressures him to become a lawyer, even though he wants to be a film director. Meanwhile, Ryu is bullied into showing her boyfriend. Since she doesn't have one, she asks Ken to pretend to be her boyfriend so her friends will believe her. She uploads a picture of their hands together, then one of his body, without showing his face. She shares it with her group of friends, but Ken doesn't like how fake it is. Ryu gets angry because she knows he's right and decides to walk away from him so her heart won't hurt. The next day, Kim finds out that Gina and Lin have been chatting a lot online, and he gets jealous. When they plan a date, he hopes Gina won't go. He fears someone might steal her away. Then, Lin confirms that he'll be able to attend the dinner since he rearranged his tutoring schedule, and they're both happy. But Lin's mother finds his messages with Gina and forbids him from going. She forces him to stay and study. Lin confronts her, expressing his anger at how strict she is. He believes he also has a right to enjoy life. His mother realizes he likes Gina and confiscates his phone so he can't contact her. She even tries to hit him, but he stops her and leaves the house with his phone. He enters a state of total anxiety and calls Gina, who rushes to comfort him. But coincidentally, Kim happens to walk by and sees them hugging like a couple. He assumes they're together, and his opinion of her changes. He throws away the watch he was going to give her and starts treating her coldly, showing his rejection. He feels betrayed, and Gina doesn't understand why he's treating her badly. She even starts to believe Kim has a new girlfriend. At that moment, they report that Lin is gone missing, and we discover that instead of going home, he chose to run away. Gina fears he may have done something foolish because he's not answering any calls. So the main characters set aside their differences and begin searching for him. We see that Lin is alive, and after reading his friends' worried messages, he realizes he is loved and that life is worth living. He tells Gina where he is, and she rushes to see him. She scolds him for his immature behavior, but is truly happy to see him again. She explains that whenever he's sad, he just needs to talk to her, and together they will overcome obstacles. They return home, while Bae surprises Kim with a kiss. Kim then confesses that he loves Gina. Bae, hurt, apologizes, but Kim tells her not to worry. He understands that she's lonely and in need of love, but his heart belongs only to Gina, the girl of his dreams. Meanwhile, the principal advises Gina to apply to Seoul University to study creative writing. She doesn't believe she can get in due to her low grades. Still, she works harder than anyone. But she realizes that going to this university means her future with Kim might take a different path, and that breaks her heart. Kim, always sweet to her, gives her a treat and calls it something sweet for my sweetest girl. Later, he opens Gina's locker and finds a love note and a heart she left for him. So he does the same. He writes her a note saying she's the most special person in his life. Gina is filled with joy. They're now doing things couples do. Meanwhile, the bullies begin to suspect that Ryu doesn't have a boyfriend since they've never met him. Ryu tells Ken she's afraid of the bullies and only pretends to have a boyfriend so they won't bother her. Ken promises to protect her from anyone who tries to hurt her. But someone secretly records their conversation, and the truth is getting dangerously close to being exposed. Ryu doesn't know this and spends a lovely afternoon with Gina. The bullies later send messages saying Gina is fake. Gina and her friends tell them to stop gossiping and leave the group. But what they don't know is that the head bully was the one who recorded the conversation, and now she's planning to ruin Ryu's life. She tells Gina that Ryu has been talking badly about her for years. Then she posts the recording on social media. Gina learns about all the lies her friend told. The next day, Ryu doesn't come to school, and the teachers say she's sick. But the truth is she's locked in her room, haunted by nightmares and deep sadness. Not even her mother's love can pull her out of the dark hole she's fallen into. Kim calls her, and she feels the urge to go see him. As soon as she sees him, she bursts into tears, overwhelmed by the guilt of betraying the people she loves. He simply hugs her, offering the love she needs, and tells her they'll get through this together. Meanwhile, Gina waits at a restaurant, and when Ryu doesn't show up, she begins to cry as she remembers the moments they shared. She realizes how happy she was with her. Then her sister enters her room without permission and starts teasing her. Gina, fed up, tells her to stop, but her sister simply came to say, "Hold on to your friends, or you'll end up alone and an alcoholic like me." So the main girl decides to support Ryu in whatever she needs. Later, her mother meets with the principal, filing a complaint because her daughter is suffering at school. The principal responds that there's no bullying in his school and all students are happy, a blatant lie. As revenge, he punishes Ryu by making her clean the entire school. When Gina tries to talk to her, Ryu runs away in fear, and Gina doesn't understand why she's avoiding her. Bae then tells Gina that Ryu is thinking of dropping out of school. Gina runs to her and asks what's wrong. Ryu says she is the problem and thinks everything would be better if she just disappeared. She wants the bullying to stop. Gina tells her she's her best friend and won't let anyone hurt her again. Ryu then reveals that 2 years ago, her best friend bullied her, and since then, she hasn't been able to trust anyone. Gina hugs her and apologizes for letting her suffer alone, and they make peace. Later, the bully insults Ryu again, but Bae tells her to shut up. That moment marks the beginning of the end for the bullies. Gina demands that the bully delete the video of Ryu or she'll involve the police. The bully refuses, but Ryu calmly stands up and apologizes for deceiving her in the past. She truly feels sorry for her. That emotional blow is worse than anything, especially for someone who finds happiness only in mocking others. The bully is left speechless and completely broken. The bullying stops, and Gina and Ryu become best friends again. Soon after, university results arrive. Gina is accepted into creative writing and is thrilled. Ryu doesn't get into the university she wanted, but it doesn't matter. What she wanted most was to regain her friendship and find happiness in herself. Meanwhile, the two boys spy on them, acting clumsy because they're clearly in love. Ryu notices and asks Gina if she's going to date Kim. Gina shyly says she'd like to. Her family encourages her for the final exams. All the students feel nervous, knowing these grades will decide their futures. The pressure is immense, but Kim gives Gina strength. Afterward, they meet on the basketball court and remember the day they practiced together. Now, what Kim wants to practice is a kiss. He finally confesses that he has liked her since the day they met 2 years ago. She feels immense joy. He asks her to be his girlfriend, and she accepts with all her heart. Meanwhile, Ryu and Kim spend time together, and she encourages him to keep making music and chasing his dreams, showing that they make a great team. Then comes graduation day. The students receive their grades, and the teacher congratulates Gina for her hard work and academic improvement. She thanks her friends, and they take a group photo, creating memories they'll cherish forever, reminding them that these were the best moments of their lives. Before heading off to college, they celebrate Kim's birthday. Overcome with emotion, Gina kisses him passionately, leaving everyone stunned. She then confesses that they're officially a couple. None of their friends are surprised. Everyone at school knew they liked each other. The way they looked at each other, the way they smiled, it was clear they shared, and still share, the fire of love. Because in this universe, they were born to be together. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave any comment down below, because that's the only way I can keep making these recaps for you. See you later.